hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Becca Jo, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. Today we are just doing a fun little get ready with me. I'm feeling the inspiration to play with makeup and just felt like doing a very fall look. We are now into November and this is the look that I came up with to celebrate the beginning of the month. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video, and without any further ado, let's get right on into it. Let us get into this fall makeup look. I have this little sample size of Urban Decay All Nighter Face Primer. I've had this for, I couldn't tell you how long, and I'm sure I've used it a time or two, but I've never used it up. So I want to use a little bit of this as our starting point today. While we give that primer a minute to sink in, I'm gonna go in with my Bobbi Brown Under Eye Corrector. This is the shade Light Bisque. For foundation today, I wanna go in with my Clinique Even Better foundation. So I'm gonna start just by placing this on the cheeks. And then I'll start the blending out process with this flat brush. And then using my dampened sponge, I will go in and blend this out on the face. For my concealer today, I want to use my Kosas Revealer Concealer. I can never remember the name of this product, but Kosas Revealer Concealer in the shade 01N. I will use the same damp sponge to blend out the concealer. Everything is looking nice and the skin looks very fresh. I'm gonna use my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 setting powder to set everything. Now that we have a good base started, I'm gonna take my Sydney Grace Luminous Light palette, face palette, and I'm gonna take the bronzer in here. It's the shade Starlight. I'm gonna use that to bronze up the face. I am not ready for blush just yet, but I do want to go in and do my brows. I'm gonna take my Sydney Grace Eyebrow Pomade in the shade Blonde, and I'm just gonna use this dry today. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of product and run it through my brows. If you missed my last video, I just specified using the brow pomade dry because in my last video I added just a little bit of Inglot Duraline to it. This is like over a year old, so the product has dried up a little bit. I find that the drier version is easy to work with and provides a good level of color for me. Not that I disliked it when it was a wetter formula, and I liked adding a little bit of Duraline in. I just wanted to use it straight up drier today. I'm going to use my Sydney Grace Strong Clear Brow Gel through my brows and clean up the shape a bit with a spoolie. I'm going to add some About Face eyeshadow primer and then we'll get into the eye look. Today is one of those days that when it comes to my eyeshadow, I have like so many ideas and so much inspiration that I'm finding it hard to narrow down and commit to one look. But I think the plan for today is to do a bronzy, like brown toned eye with a splash of blue or teal. And I'm specifically thinking that because in the Ensley Rain Underland palette, these two like bronzy tones, I used this one once. I don't know that I've used this one just yet, but they feel very fall toned and very appropriate for November. So I'm thinking about using one of those shades today. As far as mattes to go with those brown sparkly multi-chrome shades, I have been loving dipping into Cosmic Dreamer from Ensley Rain for some of these browns. They're very appropriate for fall time, and they're some of the most brown neutral shades that I have from Ensley Rain. They blend beautifully, they look beautiful. So we may also be using this palette, and because I love colorful eyeshadow and I can't help myself, I may also dip into the Ensley Rain Strawberry Moon palette into some of these teal and blue shades in the top row to pull the pop of color for this look. To get us started, I'm gonna dip into Intergalactic, this slightly olive leaning brown matte, and work that into the outer portion of my eye. I'm taking a clean Sydney Grace blending brush and just kind of blending that shade out just a little bit. I'm next going to reach into the shade Spacey with this Sierra Martin D6 brush. I'm gonna use this to add just a little bit more color and dimension to the outer portion of my eye. And again, very gently taking this Sydney Grace blending brush and blending out that shade. Using this Cliona smudger brush, I'm gonna add both of those shades to my lower lash line as well. Now I want to dip into the Underland palette and grab the shade Surreal. Put that over the majority of the lid. Here is the shade Surreal on my finger. So pretty. Hopefully you can see that shift too. And all the sparkles. So I just used a fluffy brush with a very soft hand and blended out the top portion of where I put down that shimmer shade. Now for the pop of blue. I'm really excited by this shade Pool Party in the Strawberry Moon palette, so I'm going to put this on the at least inner third of my lower lash line. I think that's where I want the pop to be. To do that, I'm using a What's Up Beauty brush, R101. I am loving that teal shade with these browns, so I'm gonna go back to Underland, take the shade Shatter Looking Glass and add that to the inner portion, like the inner corner here, and then bring it up a little bit onto the top lash line. I am going to add some mascara. This is my Smashbox Superfan mascara, and I'll be right back. I'm back with mascara, and I've said it before, but I feel like mascara really just puts the finishing touches on an eye look, and I am really, really happy with the way that this eye turned out. For blush, I have this Mob Beauty cream blush. This is the shade M72. So I'm gonna add some of this to my cheeks. This is just a nice, neutral, rosy blush shade. I want to add a little bit of highlighter. This is my Sydney Grace loose highlighter in the shade Candied Peach. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this to the high points of my cheeks. And I think I'm looking just to have a very simple lip today. So I'm gonna use this Sydney Grace lip topper. This is the shade Alice. This is just a nice, slightly warm toned, shimmery lip gloss. I am going to go off camera, go complete the final touches, and I will be right back. So here we are with the final look. I love this fall time harvesty look that we pulled together for November. The shimmers are beautiful, uber sparkly, a little bit of shift going on. I also love that we're playing with mostly neutrals here with a pop of color. I think you can do this type of neutral brown look any time of year. I think it's especially fitting for fall time with like the level of depth, at least in the way that I like to do my makeup. But I think you could take this eye look as kind of a template, and you can do any color for a little bit of a pop. I just chose to do the teal today. You could do a different color, purple, pink, green, orange, you name it. Or of course you could keep it in the neutral vein and just stick with a brown, whether a sparkle, shimmer shade, or just a matte or nothing at all. I think this is just a good staple go-to look, and I think it's perfect for this fall day. I'd love to know what you think, so please add your thoughts and comments to the comment section below. If you liked the video, I hope that you would give it a like, and if you are new to my channel, I hope that you would consider becoming a subscriber. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one.